Hello students. Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. Unit 4. What changed after October? In previous video we saw the what civil war in Russia. In this new video we will learn about the making a socialist society and 4.3 Stalinism and collectivization. During the Civil War, the Bolsheviks kept industries and banks nationalized. The Bolshevik party controlled the industries as well as the banks of the country. They permitted peasants to cultivate the land that had been socialized, means which were redistributed by the parties. Bolsheviks used confiscated land to demonstrate what collective work could be. Bolshevik party show the people the land and how the for peasant work would useful for the country after seizing those land, and to demonstrate what the collective work could be, means how the national could go together. That's why they confiscated the land of the private as well as the owners of the land. The next paragraph, a process of centralized planning was introduced, and that time they introduced the centralized planning in the country. Officials assessed how the economy could work and set targets for 5 year period, and the economists were there and they processed and they made the planning for 5 years period. That's a 5 years planning, that is called, in India also we are using this plan, that is called 5-year plan of policies. On this basis they made the 5-year plans. The government mixed all prices to promote industrial growth during the first two plan. And what happened, government fixed all prices, means government was ultimate owner of the country, and they fixed the prices to promote the industrial growth during the first two plans, means first 5-10 years, 5 plus 5 10 years. That is the period between 1927 to 1932 and 1933 to 1938. Centralized planning led to economy growth, and because of the centralized planning, economy grew up in the country. Industrial production increased between 1929 and 1933 by 100% in case of oil, coal and steel. The three things, the 100% increase in that fields. New factory cities came into being and new factories were established. However, the rapid construction led a poor working condition. Because of the rapid growth, poor working conditions were there. In the city of Magnitogorsk, the construction of a steel plant was achieved in 3 years. In 3 years they made the steel plant in the country. Workers lived hard lives. The condition of the workers were poor, and result was 550 stoppages of work in the first year alone, and there was about 550 stoppages of the work within the first 5 years alone. In living quarters in the winter's time at 40 degrees below, people had to climb down from the 4th floor and dash across the street in order to go to the toilet. Means the temperature was below 40, and the workers had to go 4th floor and dash cross the street in order to go to toilet. Means there was no facilities of urinals and toilets in the working places. An extended schooling system developed. The schooling system was developed, and that was a standard schooling system. And arrangements were made for factory workers. There was arrangement by the government for the factory workers and peasants to enter universities. Creches were established. Creches was French word. It means the place where the children or baby of workers and peasants, they stay there during the working hours. They were established in factories for children of women workers. Cheap public health care was provided, and the very low cost public health facilities were provided to the workers. Model living quarter were set up for workers, and there was a model living quarters that was set up for the workers. The effect of all this was uneven, and there was a uneven working conditions from place to place, and there was a different facilities in the different places, though since government resources were limited. As we know, the government resources were limited, so there was a different condition in the different places. Next, we can see in the previous slide, we can see the condition of the factories. Factories came to be seen as a symbol of socialism. This process states the smoke from the chimneys in the breathing of Soviet Russia. In next picture, we can see the children at a school in Soviet Russia in 1930s. The children are sitting, they are studying the Soviet economy. Number 4, figure 16, we can see a child in a Magnitsky during the 5-year plan, and this is the mess factory dining hall in 1930s. The next page, we can see the new topic 4.3, Stalinism and collectivization. The period of the early planned economy was linked to the disasters of the collectivization of agriculture. There was a collectivization, new concept introduced in the planning of agriculture. By 1927-1928, towns in the Soviet Union, Soviet Russia, were facing an acute problem of grain supplies. There was a great shortage of grains in this period, 1927-28. The government fixed prices which grain must be sold. On that the price, the grain must be sold in the country. But the peasant refused to sell their grain to government buyers at this price. But the farmers were not ready to sell their grain at that price because their cost was high for them. Stalin, who headed the party after the death of Lenin, during this time the Lenin was no more, and the Stalin was headed the party of, that is the party of Bolshevik party of Lenin, introduced firm emergency measures, and he introduced some firm steps. He believed that rich peasants and traders in the countryside were holding stocks in the hope of the higher prices. He believed that the rich farmers and traders, they hoarding the goods, and they believed that when the price would rise, they introduced in the market. Speculation had to be stopped and supplies confiscated, and that's why there was supplies was stopped. In 1928, party members toured the grain producing areas. So under the leadership of the Stalin, the party members toured the grain producing areas, supervising enforced grain collections and raiding kulaks, that is called the name for well-to-do peasant. The name for well-to-do peasants. Raiding the kulaks means the rich peasants. As shortages continued, the decision was taken to collectivized farm. So the new decision was taken, that is called collectivized farm, means there is a collective effort by the farmer at the local places. It was argued that grain shortages were partly due to the small size of holdings, and they believed that because the people at the different places holding the grains and the different places, so there was a shortage in the country. After 1917, land had been given over to the peasant. Land was given to the peasants. These small sized peasants farms could not be modernized, and because the size of the land was a small, farmer was a small, so the condition was traditionalist and they were not modernized. To develop modern farms and run them along industrial lines with machineries, it was necessary to eliminate kulaks. So they believed that for modernizing the agriculture and to make competitive with the industries, they had to increase the modernization in the agriculture. And first step they took was the elimination of kulaks. Take away. It was necessary to eliminate kulaks, take away land from peasants, and establish state-controlled large farms. So they believed that there should be a elimination of the kulaks, means the owners of the farmland, and take away the land from the peasants and establish state-controlled large farm, and there should be large farm for the agriculture. Now, what followed was Stalin's collectivization program. Now, the new program started in Russia, that is called Stalin's collectivization program. From 1929, the party forced all peasants to cultivate in collective farms, kolkhoz, that is called in local language, the Russian language, kolkhoz. Means now the farmers not working independently, but they should work collective, and that is called collective farms. The bulk of land and the implements were transferred to the ownership of collective farms, and this process is called collective farming. Peasants worked on the land, and the kolkhoz, that is called collective farm, profit was shared. Means ultimately when they worked together, the profit was shared among them. Enraged peasants resisted the authorities, and some peasants were not happy with this policy, and they resisted the authorities and destroyed their livestock, and they destroyed themselves their livestock, their own farming. Between 1929 and 1931, the number of cattle fell by 1/3, and up to 1929 to 1931, 1/3 cattle fell down by 1/3. Means they themselves killed their livestock, and the number reduced up to 1/3. Those who resisted collectivizations were severely punished, but the government took stern action against them. Many were deported and exiled. Many people were deported and some were exiled. They left the country. As they resisted collectivization, peasants argued that they were not rich and they were not against socialism. They put their argument that they were not rich and they were not against socialism. They merely did not want to work in collective farms for a variety of reasons. They said they were in the favor of socialism, but there were another reasons, variety of reasons. That's why they did not work in collective farming. Stalin's government allowed some independent collectivization. In some places, Stalin governments allowed them, but treated such cultivators unsympathetically. But the government treatment against them, and that was not sympathetic, that was again their wishes, so they were treated unsympathetically. In spite of the collectivization, production did not increase immediately, but after took such measures, production did not increase. In fact, the bad harvest in 1930-33 led one of the most devastating famines in Soviet history, and during this period 1930-33 there was a great famine in the Soviet history. in Russia, when over 4 million died, almost 40 lakh people were died. Some new words are here. It's a deported, forcefully removed from one's own country, exiled, forced to live away from one's own country. Many within the party criticized the confusion in industrial production under the planned economy. Some people were not satisfied with the policy of the government, Bolshevik party, and the consequences of collectivization, because the immediate result was not good for Russia, because there was a famine in 1930 to 33. So people also raised question against the collectivization. Stalin and his sympathizers charged these critics with conspiracy against socialism. Some sympathizers, means follower of the Stalin, they charged these critics, these people who raised the question against the party, with conspiracy and against the view of socialism. Accusations were made throughout the country, and these accusations were not in the big cities but throughout the country. And by 1939, over 2 million means 20 lakhs, were in prisons or labor camps. So 2 million people were behind the bar. Most were innocent of the crimes. Most of the people were innocent, but no one spoke for them. But people did not speak for that for them. For them, no people were ready to speak because of the Stalin and their dictatorship. A large number were forced to make false confessions. A large number were forced to make false confessions, were made under torture and were executed. People accepted their mistake, although that was a false confession, under torture, because of the torture, and were executed. Several among them were talented professionals, and among them there were the talented professionals were also there, people who were asking questions or said against the policies of government. So in this video we understand the Stalinism and its policy, that is a collectivization, and we also understood in the 4.2 the socialist society in Russia. In the next video we will see the unit 5, the global influence of Russian Revolution and the USSR. Thank you.